Alrighty, this is 48 Conklai, and I have a new gun here today. As you can see, it is a Glock. There's a lot of Glocks made, but this one is different, at least to me anyways. First off, I want to apologize for the mess back here. I've been working on milling my 80% lower receiver. I have a couple other videos about that, but that's where you get all this plastic from. But alright, so let's open up the case. Lo and behold. Alright. What we got here is the Glock 40 MOS. It is empty. Okay. Well, first thing in the case that you get, like with all Glocks, especially with Gen 4s, because the Glock 40 MOS is offered in the MOS configuration in the Gen 4 only. So what you see is what you're going to get. They don't offer it in any other options. It is what it is. So with the Gen 4s, you get your typical adjustable back straps. You get 3 mags, one in the gun, and you get 2 other mags here. For the 10mm 40 here, you get 15 rounds plus 1. And you also get your regular mag loader. You also get, with the MOS kit, you get these MOS adapter plates. So you get a couple different options here, depending on what kind of red dot sight that you'd want to throw on there. I haven't opened it yet, but eventually when I get an optic for this, we'll need it. And you get your little cleaning brush and things like that you always get. Let's see what we got here. Alright, onto the gun. The Glock 40 MOS is, like I said, the MOS stands for Modular Optic System, and as you can see here, it's got 2 screws on the back. And what that does is it has, you can see the lines here, this plate pops out, and you throw in one of these other plates, and you can easily mount a red dot reflex sight on it. Definitely going to do that for my needs and purpose with this gun, but I'll get on with that a little bit later. As I said, the gun is Gen 4, so you got your standard Gen 4 Glock features. Like I said, you got the cut for the adjustable back straps. You got your Gen 4 grip, mag release. Other than that, it is all in all a Gen 4. A couple unique features to the Glock 40 is, besides the MOS, with that MOS cut, they push this sight back, which this is an adjustable Glock sight on the Glock 40, and they push the sight back as far as possible. Usually they're just a little bit creeped forward, but this sight actually, you can see, hangs over just a little bit off the back. So they really try to give you, one of the longer, it's actually probably the longest sight radius on a Glock that you can get. Besides, well, along with the 17L and the 24, which is the 9mm and the 40 Smith & Wesson long slides. So we'll go ahead and take the gun apart. Everybody's seen Glocks, I'm sure. On the 40, the frame is standard to the 20-21 size large frame Glocks. So everything internally is basically the same. Save for on this version, it's got a little bit different trigger pull. I'm not sure if it's in the connector or if it's somewhere else, but they do advertise this as a 4.5 trigger pull rather than their standard 5.5. It does feel a little lighter too. It does have a smooth face trigger, as you can see there. It's just comfy. You only feel the little blade, no other ridges. I know with their subcompacts, Glock has to do that to try for import restrictions and stuff. So, and this is actually my first full-size Glock. I have a 29 in 10mm, and I've enjoyed that. and I've really wanted this Glock 40 for a long time since they announced it at SHOT Show. I'll get on with that. It uses the same Glock 20 recoil spring and guide rod assembly. It does have a 6-inch barrel, which that's a big barrel for a Glock. And then you got the big slide here. This is pretty gargantuan, to say the least. I guess here's this AR lower. It's way bigger than that. Just as a comparison, roughly. It's pretty nice. I like how they add this little piece in up here. The recoil spring just sits right in like that, and then it allows you to have a little hole right here so you can take your sights out, your front sight. And then from the front, you see a little hole there, so it's all opened, which to somebody who would know anything might be like, oh, it's a 2-barreled gun, but obviously not. But let me get this back together. It's one of the nice features about Glocks, or they are very easy to disassemble and put back together. A couple other things about this and why I got this. This is an initial first impressions of this gun. I have shot a little bit through it. Nothing to write home about, but just to get a kind of a feel for it. But nothing I could do a official, formal kind of shooting review on. This Glock is, let me just say, it is the biggest Glock that Glock makes. I mentioned before that the 17L and the 24 are long slides. They do have a 6-inch barrel. The 20 size guns, or the Glock 20s and 21s, cut off right about here, and this obviously you get that extra length there. The Glock 41 uses a thinner slide like in the Glock 30S. This, on the other hand, uses the full width of the large frame Glocks. So it's a lot heavier, real top heavy on the front, but that actually helps because if you're shooting some real hot 10mm, which I did shoot some buffalo bore through this, some 180 grain, I'd have to check on the feet per second for that, but it really does help kind of keep the muzzle down. Don't really need a porting or anything like that, because just the way the gun feels in your hand does make a difference to me anyways. But yeah, so I mean, my main intentions for this gun are to put a red dot on here and maybe do a few other little mods to it to make it a hunting gun. And I live in Michigan, where we can hunt white-tailed deer with handguns. The only requirement is that you're only supposed to have, I believe it's 8 rounds in the magazine, and these stock mags hold 15. I know California and New York, they have some restrictions on their sizes, so I might get a 10-round mag, which I believe they just shuffle everything over and make it basically a straight mag. I live in a relatively free state in Michigan, and we don't have any mag restrictions, so I will have to come up with some kind of a block in here to make it legal for hunting, and that's going to be my main purpose with it. I am part of the GSSF, which is the Glock Sports Shooting Foundation, and I might think about taking it out there and try having fun with it. It's definitely a decent platform for it. You got a nice long sight radius, and I think it would work well in that situation. So maybe this would be a little bit better choice than my subcompact 29, but you never know. Those matches have different prerequisites of based on models and stuff like that. So not something I've fully mulled over yet. But overall, my first impressions of this gun are, it's a Glock. You got your standard Glock features. You can't go wrong with that. Standard, as far as comparing it to like a 20, that's basically the same, only it's got a long slide and a long barrel. And with a little bit different trigger and sight than a stock 20. With that being said, I did look into getting a Lone Wolf. I did, for a while, I was looking into getting a used Glock 20 and maybe throwing on a Lone Wolf long slide, throw a 6-inch barrel in it. And I wasn't, at that time, thinking about doing a red dot sight mount here, maybe doing something with the rail and doing a mount up over this part of the gun. But I looked into it, and for the price that I got this for, it was actually better to go with this. I know Lone Wolf has lowered their prices recently on a lot of barrels and stuff, so maybe if I revisited that, you probably could come up with something. But that's neither there or there. So yeah. So this is the Glock 40, and as far as my first impressions, it seems like it'll be a good gun for what I'm intending to do with it. I'll definitely do a shooting review update on it, and if I do any changes, I'll make sure to mention them and do kind of a comparison of how they would feel from stock to the aftermarket, and as far as sights and choices like that. So, alright, this is 48 Concli, and thanks for watching, and I'll keep you updated.